Most animals that come into conflict with humans do so because they are protecting their territory or their young, or because they feel threatened and attack out of fear. For example, one of the animals responsible for the most human deaths is the hippopotamus. However, it is not a carnivore at all, but a herbivore. When a hippo kills a person, it is usually because it is defending its territory. That is why you should never approach one. However, there is another type of animal attack on humans that is far rarer, but much more dangerous: a predatory attack. In such a situation, the animal is not simply trying to drive a person away from its territory. It follows them, watches them, and evaluates them as a potential source of food. Today, we will present 10 animals with confirmed cases of viewing and hunting humans as prey. Humans may dominate the planet, but in the wild, we are not always at the top of the food chain. Let the countdown begin. Number 10. The American black bear. The American black bear is generally a shy and cautious animal. Despite its name, its fur is not always black. It can be brown, light brown, or even almost white. Most black bears will retreat as soon as they notice a human. Many encounters end with the bear running into the forest, often before the person even realizes how close it was. However, there is a subtle difference between defensive and predatory behavior. A defensive bear usually reacts suddenly. It may have been startled. It may be protecting its cubs or guarding food. Its goal is to remove the threat and move away. A predatory bear behaves differently. It may quietly follow a person, circle around them, and approach them several times. It does not appear to simply want to escape. It seems to be assessing whether the person is vulnerable enough to become prey. Research shows that predatory attacks by black bears are extremely rare. However, when they do occur, they most often involve a person who is alone and an adult male bear. That is why the American black bear takes 10th place. It almost never hunts humans, but there are confirmed cases in which it has identified a person as a potential meal. Number 9. The Komodo dragon. On several Indonesian islands lives the largest lizard in the world. The Komodo dragon can grow to around 3 meters in length and weigh several dozen kilograms. At first glance, it may appear slow and clumsy. However, over short distances, it is capable of launching a very fast attack. The Komodo dragon is an ambush predator. It can remain almost completely motionless for a long time, waiting for its prey to come close enough. Its usual prey includes deer, wild boar, and smaller animals. But the Komodo dragon is not always selective. There are rare documented cases of attacks on humans, as well as cases in which these animals attempted to feed on human bodies. A person who is alone, injured, or lying on the ground may be especially vulnerable. Like other predators, the Komodo dragon tries to assess how capable its potential prey is of defending itself. That is why visitors to islands inhabited by Komodo dragons should not wander away from their guides. The Komodo dragon does not regularly hunt humans, but its size, strength, and hunting methods mean that a person can become its prey. Number 8. The reticulated python. The reticulated python is one of the longest snakes in the world. The largest individuals can exceed 5 meters in length, although specimens of this size are much rarer than smaller pythons. Unlike venomous snakes, a python does not use venom. It grabs its prey with its mouth, coils its body around it, and constricts it. Once the prey can no longer resist, the snake swallows it whole. The reticulated python's usual diet includes birds, monkeys, pigs, and other mammals. However, there are also confirmed cases from Southeast Asia in which very large reticulated pythons attacked and swallowed humans. Such events are extremely rare. A human is large, difficult, and dangerous prey, even for a giant snake. Still, if a python determines that a person's size is within its capabilities, it may attempt to hunt them. What is especially interesting is that the relationship between humans and large pythons has existed for thousands of years. Humans have hunted pythons for their meat and skin, while sufficiently large snakes have occasionally attacked humans. In some environments, humans and pythons have simultaneously been hunters, competitors, and possible prey for one another. Number 7. The spotted hyena. In films and cartoons, hyenas are often portrayed as cowards that only steal food from lions. The reality is completely different. Spotted hyenas are among Africa's most capable predators. They are highly intelligent, resilient, and live in organized groups called clans. They hunt a large portion of their food themselves. Working together, they can chase down and bring down animals much larger than a single hyena. Most hyenas avoid humans. However, in some parts of Africa, they live very close to settlements and enter villages and towns at night in search of food. Once they become accustomed to the presence of humans, they may lose their natural fear. There have been recorded cases of hyenas attacking people who were alone, people sleeping outdoors, and children. This does not mean that every hyena sees humans as food, but a hungry hyena that has become used to people may decide that an unprotected person is easier prey than a strong wild animal. And when it does not attack alone, an entire clan may be behind it. Number 6. The leopard. The leopard is not the largest of the big cats. It is smaller than the tiger and the lion, but it possesses qualities that make it an exceptionally dangerous hunter. It moves silently, attacks from ambush, and hides so effectively that it can live near villages for a long time without people realizing it is there. The leopard is highly adaptable. It can live in forests, savannas, mountains, desert regions, and even on the outskirts of large settlements. It usually hunts at night and tries to approach its prey without making a sound. Most leopards avoid humans. However, there are known cases in which individual leopards began repeatedly attacking people. Such a leopard may approach a settlement, wait for someone to become separated from the group, and attack them in the same way it would attack its natural prey. Researchers recognize possible predatory behavior when a leopard displays the typical stages of hunting: stalking, attacking, dragging the victim away from the scene, and attempting to feed. Because it is smaller than a lion or a tiger, a leopard is more likely to choose people it believes will offer less resistance. Its greatest weapon is not only its strength, it is the fact that you probably will not notice it, even though it may have been watching you for a long time. Number 5. The lion. The lion is often called the king of animals. An adult male can weigh more than 180 kilograms, while females, which do most of the hunting, can work together to bring down very large prey. Humans are not a lion's usual food. In most areas, lions try to avoid contact with people. However, history records several cases in which lions began deliberately hunting humans. When a lion discovers that a human is easier to catch than a zebra, buffalo, or another fast and powerful animal, it may repeat the same hunting strategy. In some parts of Tanzania, many attacks occurred at night, when people were walking alone, guarding livestock, or sleeping in poorly protected shelters. A lion does not always have to be old, sick, or injured to attack a human. Sometimes its behavior is influenced by a shortage of natural prey, the expansion of human settlements, and becoming accustomed to the presence of people. The most dangerous situation occurs when a lion successfully hunts a human and learns to associate people with food. In that case, the attack may not remain an isolated incident. Number 4. The tiger. The tiger is the largest cat in the world and an almost perfect solitary hunter. Unlike lions, tigers generally do not hunt in groups. They rely on stealth, patience, and an explosive attack from a short distance. A tiger can follow its prey through tall grass or dense forest for a long time, moving almost silently. Its usual prey includes deer, wild boar, and other large mammals. Humans are not its natural choice of prey. However, among the big cats, tigers are responsible for some of the most famous historical cases of animals systematically hunting humans. Why does an individual tiger become a man-eater? There can be several reasons. An injured or old animal may no longer be able to catch fast, natural prey. Another tiger may live in an area where the number of wild animals has declined. Some individuals simply discover that a person who is alone is slower and less dangerous than a large deer or wild boar. A particularly serious problem arises when a tiger loses its fear of humans. Because it is highly intelligent and capable of learning from previous hunts, A successful attack may encourage it to repeat the same behavior. Most tigers will never. Number 3. The polar bear. The polar bear is different from most other bears. It lives in an environment where food is scarce, and almost everything it hunts is rich in the energy it needs to survive in the Arctic. The polar bear is primarily a carnivore. Its main prey is seals, which it waits for beside openings in the ice or approaches carefully. An adult male can weigh several hundred kilograms. It has an exceptionally strong sense of smell and is capable of traveling great distances in search of food. Unlike many animals that instinctively flee from humans, a polar bear may approach out of curiosity or hunger. A scientific analysis of polar bear attacks found that, in many cases, their behavior was considered predatory. In other words, the bear was not simply trying to defend itself. It was viewing the person as a possible source of food. A thin, starving individual that has been unable to find a seal for a long time can be especially dangerous. As sea ice retreats, some polar bears spend more time on land, where they may come into contact with human settlements. Encounters are still extremely rare, but when a hungry polar bear begins persistently following a person, it may not be doing so out of curiosity alone. Number 2. The saltwater crocodile. In second place is the saltwater crocodile, also known as the estuarine crocodile. It is the largest living reptile in the world. The largest males can grow to more than 6 meters in length and weigh over 1 ton. They live in parts of South and Southeast Asia, northern Australia, and on islands between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Despite their name, they do not live only in the open sea. They can be found in rivers, swamps, mangroves, estuaries, and coastal waters. Thanks to their ability to travel long distances through the sea, they may also appear in places where people do not expect them. The saltwater crocodile is territorial, extremely powerful, and an opportunistic predator. This means that it may attack almost any animal it considers close enough and possible to overpower. A human is not too large a target for a big saltwater crocodile. It does not need to mistake us for another animal. It can clearly recognize that a human is in front of it and still decide to attack. Its greatest advantage is surprise. While a person sees only a calm surface of water, the crocodile may be waiting completely hidden just a few meters away. Because of its size, strength, stealthy hunting method, and the fact that many attacks are predatory, the saltwater crocodile takes second place on our list. Number 1. The Nile crocodile. In first place is the Nile crocodile, one of the largest freshwater predators in the world. It lives in rivers, lakes, and wetlands across much of Africa. Most of the time, it is almost invisible. Only its eyes and nostrils may remain above the surface, while the rest of its body stays hidden beneath the water. The Nile crocodile is an ambush predator. It does not try to chase prey for long distances on land. Instead, it waits for an animal to approach the water to drink, swim, or cross to the other side. Then it attacks with great speed. People who use rivers and lakes every day for water, washing, fishing, or transportation may find themselves in the same places where crocodiles expect to encounter their natural prey. Because of this, a large crocodile may see a human as simply another mammal approaching the water's edge. Unlike many animal attacks that are defensive, a crocodile attack is often directly connected to feeding. It can remain hidden, wait for the right moment, and attack without warning. In the water, it is so powerful that even large animals struggle to resist it. These 10 animals are capable of viewing a human as potential prey. However, it is important to remember that none of them spends its life searching for people. There is one more interesting fact. The great white shark is not on this list. Although sharks are among the animals people fear the most, scientists have no evidence that they regularly and deliberately hunt humans as natural prey, as we discussed in the previous video. Many shark bites end with the shark swimming away after the first contact. This suggests that a human is usually not what it expected or wanted to eat. A crocodile, tiger, or polar bear may deliberately continue the hunt. In many cases, a shark gives up. That is why the animal we fear the most is not necessarily the animal that is most likely to see us as food. Which animal on this list surprised you the most? Write your answer in the comments. If you enjoyed these facts, click the subscribe button and join us for the next story. I'm Alex, and this is Education with Alex.